Support the show by donating at themusicbuds.com. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Music Buds podcast. This is episode number 24, and my name is Henry. This week, I'm honored to be joined by Andrea Wasse, who is a part of digital Daggers, Nightjacket. She has her own solo work, as well as being involved in many other projects as well. Andrea, it is so nice to meet you. I really have loved your music for a long time now. And so thank you for being here.
Oh my God, of course. Thank you for asking me.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's chat. What's up?
Yeah. Well, yeah. First of all, how's life?
Oh, can you believe we're only 3 months away from next March?
Jeez. This has been a year.
Yeah, right. What's happened since then? Like, I've been pretty much locked down where I've been going to sessions here and there, but doing like the whole COVID test thing. But it's been weird because even like I have a couple like new baby bands. I've got this band called DeadXLife. There we go. That's my band name, DeadXLife. And then I joined this other band, Nightjacket. And like we had all these ideas, like shows ready to go. And then all of a sudden, bam, lockdown. So we're like, okay, well, what are we doing with ourselves now? And I think it kind of made a lot of musicians question what they're doing with their lives. But yeah, it's been interesting. Yeah, and boring. Pretty boring. And like the first part of the year, it's like it definitely felt like we were in a strange apocalyptic movie, and with everything going on with the election, and like it felt like doom. And my boyfriend bought like a machete and like a bug out kit. We're like, expect the worst, but the worst hasn't come. So knock on wood. I'm knocking on so much wood. But yeah, so to answer your question, what was the question? I'm okay.
How are you?
I'm okay. Today I'm okay. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
It's been weird, right? And like I know a lot of artists who've been thriving in this time. They're like, I just wrote this album and I did this whole thing. I'm like, I don't understand how y'all had the energy to make anything artistic, to creatively do something, because like I felt like it took everything in my power to just stay sane. I was like, okay, well, I have to do yoga, I have to meditate, I have to do all these other things, and then by the end of the day I had no energy left to create anything. And that happened for like a while. That was going on. And then I was like, am I even a songwriter anymore? Like I don't so I think like a lot of people have had this experience though, right?
Yeah.
How are you doing in this?
I'm doing all right. I'm in North Carolina. It seems like a lot of artists, it's like either they're taking a complete break and just kind of, in some ways, relaxing, or some people are like furiously trying to work to try and stay sane. I feel like I kind of go back and forth. Like I feel like I'm always wanting to produce something to keep my mind off the world, but then there are days where I just have to stop no matter what, But
what have you
all
been
considering
doing for self-care?
Yeah.
What's like your number one self-care tip?
I'm a big movie guy. I do a movie podcast as well. So any movies, sitcom reruns work, just anything to laugh for a little bit.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I guess I did want to ask, first of all, with you being a part of so many different groups, how did you get started in music?
Well, I guess I was always kind of in music. My mom's a classical pianist. So basically I was sitting at a piano even when I was in the womb. So like in my household, like my dad was an actor and a drama teacher, my mom a piano teacher, and like every one of my siblings is musically inclined. And like we were always really supported in being musicians. I've been in bands with people who their parents didn't support that dream, and I got really lucky with that. But like I took opera lessons and piano lessons when I was a kid. But then when I was 15, and it's funny because, no, it's not funny, it's sad because like a lot of venues are closing right now.
Yeah.
And the other day, this one that I basically grew up in announced that they were closing. So in London, Ontario, Canada, there's this place called Call the Office, and they had all ages shows. And so I started going to shows there when I was about 14, 15. And I had that amazing moment where I was watching bands play, I'm like, well, I can do this too. Like, I want to do this too. And so I started a band at 15. It was a pop rock band, and I had that for like 10 years. It was called The Weeknd, which is why the other Weeknd doesn't have that E in his name.
Yeah.
Because of that band. But like, I just kind of dove into it, and that became my life. And then I moved to LA, and I met Jason Space and Daggers, and we started a project together. And basically, yeah, pandemic has forced me to sit still. But before that, it was like, I feel like doing this psychedelic band. I feel like doing this goth band, or like, I'm really into Depeche Mode right now, so I'm going to go do this. So it's been like a whole bunch of different things. Like, I have musical ADD almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it started off pretty simple. And I think just living in LA, there are so many musicians to work with. And sorry, it's like, it's so weird to talk to people right now, because I've been so like in my own little bubble of like just watching television and zoning out. But yeah, I started at 15 and I just haven't stopped. And then even like joining Nightjacket, they needed a singer. And I've always been a big fan of people like Hope Sandoval and Mazzy Star and all that. So it's like, okay, I've got Daggers in this compartment. And then I got to express a different side of myself with Nightjacket. So we just finished up. It's getting mastered right now, but we have an EP coming out that was supposed to be out in the fall, but COVID hit and our plans changed. So it should be out next year early. Awesome. I feel like that's the story. Plans change for everybody, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with that being said, like with you being a part of these different groups that like, it kind of goes from like Southern Gothic to like, as you were saying, like electric and pop. Do you find that working with so many different groups of people and also on your own just kind of gets the creative juices flowing? Is that kind of just a natural, I guess, break off in a way?
Yeah, because I mean, you can get kind of bored doing one thing or the other, and then sometimes it's like one thing works, and so you just kind of start going with it. Because like even my solo stuff, the Andrea Wasse stuff, like I had no intention of being like, oh, I'm going to do Southern Goth. Like basically what happened with that even is I'm with Sony Publishing, and every once in a while they do these writing camps. So like a whole bunch of writers and artists get together, and we'll break away into two like different groups, and you'll write 2 songs a day with these people. And I wrote this song. It was Ain't No Devil. I wrote that in one of the camps. And with those, it was with the film TV department. And they're like, okay, well, we need things that are like driving, pulsing, whatever. And so we would write these songs, and then they'd go pitch it for shows and stuff. And so Ain't No Devil ended up being synced in a couple things. And so then it was like, okay, well, that's what I'm doing with my solo stuff. So that just kind of happened. But like creatively, like it's nice to be liberated, because even like I always thought I was just the pop rock girl, and then I was like, well, I'm just the goth pop girl. And you don't have to be just one thing, I mean, you can be, but you don't have to be, and that's so liberating. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. No, and I wanted to make sure to pass on to you. So the song from your solo work, Sinners and Saints, and then the song from digital Daggers, Save Us From Ourselves. I wanted to tell you those songs, amongst so many of your great songs, whenever I hear them, I want to just immediately go and tell people to listen to them too. And not only that, but with this year having been so crazy, so anxious, I've been able to go on walks at night and listen to your music, like those songs, and come back and I feel better. And I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate your work.
Henry, that is such an amazing thing to hear. Thank you.
Of course.
Like, honestly, because like we write these songs, and that's like the best thing you can ever tell someone. So like I'm so happy that I got to be in that moment with you, because like, we write these songs and they feel so personal to us, and then all of a sudden they're out there, and then just to have other people gravitate towards them and have like them find homes in other people's hearts like that. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. And I'm glad I was able to help you in 2020.
And well, now in terms of songwriting, how do lyrics usually come to you? Are they like do songs usually get written in a short period of time, long period of time, or is it kind of all over the place?
It's really all over the place. I find it's hard to even write or talk about how you write a song, you know, because like sometimes a lyric will come to me and I'll be like, oh, that's kind of clever. Or, you know, like, don't mind if I do. But yeah, it'll be like a cool moment. And then sometimes it's a melody. And then sometimes it's like, I'll be watching a movie or something and I'll be like, ooh, I wonder what the character would feel in this situation, you know, and you can kind of make it like putting the puzzle together with all the pieces. But I've had songs where like I will start something and then not be able to finish it. Like the chorus just doesn't want to come. Like with Daggers stuff, there was one song, Still Here. I don't know if you know that one, but that took like a year. That took like a year to write, mostly because Jason and I couldn't like agree on the production of the style. I'm like, no, this is the way that I want it. And like with duos, you know, I was thinking about this earlier today, like with bands, it's a lot easier to just like get in the room, even if you're fighting or not seeing eye to eye. But that one took a year because we were like, well, fine. You disagree, I disagree. Like, and then we just didn't see each other for like 6 months or something. So, yeah, sometimes they take a little bit longer to write, and that's okay because they get there when they get there. It's like some are really easy births and some are cesareans, and yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah. Now, with your music being very like personal and very in the best way, vulnerable in many ways, do you find that it's at times hard to bring those like emotions out at times, or is it just like, is it therapy to kind of get all those thoughts out, those, you know, whatever you want to call it, memories or moments?
I mean, it's definitely therapy. It's definitely, and that's why when I hear that other people enjoy these songs or even have like little homes for them in their hearts like that, it's like, I'm so grateful that it's an example of the human experience and the shared emotions that we have. And so, yeah, like I've been in some weird situations in my life. And so having the opportunity to write about that and explore how I felt about a certain situation with words and with melody, like it is very cathartic. And I mean, this is on top of having therapy as well. Because my brain is my brain.
Only
but yeah, it is definitely therapy. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's interesting because even like I'll write a song sometimes and I'll be feeling a certain way and then I'll go and I'll sing it like 3 years later or something and I can apply it to a completely different situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's neat. Like music is really, it's neat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel you there. And like, I think with that being said, I think some of my favorite songs are ones that they kind of capture like a moment in time, you know, a memory or whatever it is. And years later, you can either feel that exact moment, what they were feeling at that time, or as you were just saying, you can capture it or you can feel something totally different. And I think that's one of the great things about music.
Yeah, and it's neat what it'll trigger in you, like in your memories. Like if you have a favorite song and you're listening to it in a certain period of your life, you know, you can hear it 20 years later and you'd be brought back to that moment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's such a trip, and it's really like we're just dealers, you know, we're just dealing at memories. That is not our cat, by the way. No. That was a neighbor's cat that has basically been coming around. Hi, come back. Sorry, just a minute.
No, you're fine.
Hey, this is Luna.
Hello. No, this happens more often than you would think. People's cats wander by, dogs. Cats? Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, but it's neat because, like, you know, I have favorite songs that I listened to when I was a teenager, and I hear them now, and I'm either like, oh, the production is terrible, or like it just instantly brings me back, and I feel like that's so genuine, and it's so what's the word that I'm looking for? You can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My brain is not working. I don't talk to anybody anymore.
Oh no, you're fine. I don't really either. But like, yeah, as you were just saying, recently I went back and listened to some songs that I heard or that I first heard in middle school. And it was like those instant connections were just brought back. And so,
right.
It's
what
great.
were your favorite bands in middle school?
Well, basically some of my favorite ones now, like I'm a big Green Day fan, like I'm a big pop punk rock fan. So like those 2000s bands like Blink-182 and like any of those alt rock, pop rock bands that blew up during then, I was there.
I played with Green Day once. I opened for them. Yeah, they were really nice guys.
Oh man, that is so
really,
cool.
really nice. And they lent my bass player a bass because her bass wasn't working. And in their dressing room, they were throwing knives at the wall, and they wrote "Branson did this" in mustard on the wall, and they were just really fun.
That sounds like them. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, but really, really nice guys.
Yeah.
So many years ago.
Yeah. Were there any groups besides the ones that you've mentioned or artists that you loved growing up that you connected with?
Ooh.
I'm sure there's lots, but.
Yeah, I mean, like when I was a kid, I grew up with classical music, right? And then my dad was a big Peter Gabriel fan. And so I got kind of like all the 80s Talking Heads, all that kind of stuff. And then as a teenager, I was one of those depressive sorts. And so I gravitated towards like Tori Amos and Hole and all those bands, and then The Cure, and then Bauhaus, and it got deeper and darker.
Yeah.
that was really more like my 20s. My 20s was my goth phase, really. 20s and 30s. Yeah. But I mean, I listened what was I listening to the other day? I think I even deep dove and went into like Sheryl Crow, which was such a 90s thing because it wasn't cool by any means to like Sheryl Crow, but damn, she wrote some good songs.
Oh yeah.
Like she is a talented lady. So but like going back, like it brought me back to like one of my first real breakups, because I was listening to one song over and over. I think that's strong enough song. Like, are you strong enough to be
yeah.
And it really brought back that. And it like, I don't know, it's so weird. It's weird how we can go back like that. Like I remember the last time that I went to my parents' house, just like, I went through an old chest and I found my old diaries from when I was like 17.
Oh yeah.
It was so dramatic. It's like, this is the end of the world. You're like, you know nothing. And like, this is not so bad. I mean, I remember when I was like, starting a band and Hole were, on the scene, and you could see like this girl totally kicking ass, this woman rather. Like she had a guitar, the Squire guitar, and it was like the Venus or something. I'm like, I want that guitar. I never bought it, but it was really pretty.
Yeah. This is kind of a vague question, but it just kind of shows my ignorance. So like, what is like a typical like recording session for you for one of your groups? Like what's a, like, how long does it usually take for a certain song or and I'm purely just curious. I'm just would like to know.
Right. I mean, it really, really depends on the production and stuff too. Yeah. Like for instance, with Daggers, we would go in and write, and usually it would take us like 1 or 2 days to write the song. And then Space would go on and like do his production, and I'd go sing it, and it would take a bit. And then it's like trying to find the right production and the right, even the song structure. And with a lot of that stuff, like with the Dagger stuff, for sure, we tried to think as cinematically as we possibly could, because that was the stuff that really lended itself to like Pretty Little Liars, like all those vampire teenage shows. Yeah. And so like he went to town with strings, like he was really, really good at doing that stuff. But so there's that. But then like with Nightjacket, that band that I joined, because they lost their singer, she left, and they were like, hey, we need a singer, and a friend put us in touch. And so that's how I ended up with them. But with them, it's kind of like my 90s dream band. Like it's we're doing these songs, and like we would totally be playing Lilith Fair, like we'd be on that if it was back in the 90s. But sorry, I was something in my eye.
No, you're fine.
But yeah, with that stuff, like we're using like real instruments. It's none of, we're amping, we're miking amps. Like so that has taken a while, where we even have this amazing producer helping us like mix it into stuff. And he like did a bunch of like PJ Harvey and Helium, like all these cool 90s bands. So like just having an extra set of ears in it, like makes it sound better. It takes a little bit more time. So that can take a lot longer. But yeah, like with technology being what it is today, you know, like it can take a couple of days. It can take a week. It can take a month. Yeah. So
well,
yeah,
I mean,
it just really, it varies.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I did want to ask you because let's see. There's a few things. With digital daggers, I do like how you were just talking about, at times it does feel like a movie score. There's like that kind of like dreamy kind of underlying feeling to it. And man, it is so cool because it feels like you could put it into so many different places, if that makes sense. That's what I connect with a lot.
Yeah, no, he's good at that.
Is there anything, I guess we can maybe talk even more about this year. Is there anything that you've been doing to stay sane otherwise, and any other habits, perhaps any other artists that you've been listening to?
Well, let's see. I've just been kind of losing my mind. I started tie-dyeing a lot. That's been interesting. Listening to a lot of my boyfriend's music, Big Black Delta, check him out. He's really good. But yeah, let's see. I have been working with my friend Topher a lot, who we had this song together that was in that movie, The Old Guard.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
Really cool.
It was such a cool moment. Like that's like the moments that I live for, when it's like a whole bunch of badasses and they're all, you know, and that was kind of cool because during pandemic, I really haven't been seeing anyone, and like all my family lives in Canada where they're doing this quarantine like strictly. So you have to go and quarantine for 2 weeks and then you're allowed to be with people. And like, I don't want to do that. So I haven't seen my family in a bit. But yeah, with The Old Guard, because a lot of people watched it, right? So I was getting a whole bunch of, it was huge. It was really amazing. But so like not being able to see anyone and like being in my own little bubble, suddenly I started getting all these texts like, I think I heard your voice in this movie. Like I think I'm like, yeah, that was me. Hi. It was kind of an opportunity to just jump into people's living rooms and be like, hi, we're hanging out. You have my voice. But that was a pretty cool moment of pandemic. Yeah, I'm gonna work with this cool kid from Canada. His name is Jonathan. I can't remember his last name, but he has this project called Cube. And he's this 15-year-old who my mother actually used to teach piano to. So it's funny. It's like all this stuff, but he is gonna blow up for sure. But he's one of those kids who can play every single musical instrument and is recording it all. And anyway, so that's something I'm excited about because I love wonder kids, people who can play. I have one of those in Nightjacket, Louis. He can play every single instrument. I'm like, how do you do how are you doing that? He's like, oh yeah, I could play that cello line. I'm like, what? And then all of a sudden he's got this cello. But rhythmically challenged I am, and with tambourines and stuff, like I'll watch Louis just like do all these different I'm like, I can't, because everyone just assumes that singers can tambourine. You know, it's like you see any movie or something, like there's a singer on stage and they've got the tambourine. It's like, actually it's not that easy. Like it really is not. Yeah.
I like in terms of the musicians, like I'll encounter people who like, oh yeah, I can play this and that. I'm like, oh, like it's just like this complete, like I just can't understand how someone could be that gifted so quickly and so multifaceted. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Do you play any instruments?
I play guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now my all my podcasts keep me pretty busy. But yeah, whenever I can, I always try and play guitar. Quarantine has helped me a little bit get back into it, but yeah. Okay.
So is the podcast something that you started in quarantine? Like, is this?
So I started a couple years ago. The interviewing I actually started in quarantine. And so that's kind of my quarantine project has been this. So,
right.
But
well, this is good. Have you talked to like lots of cool people?
Yeah, I've talked to, I think I've released interviews over the last couple months. So I've interviewed some film and video game composers. That's part of it. Some people have done that. I talked to some punk bands like Potty Mouth was my very first one, a band out of LA. I talked to a Swedish singer named Scott. She was really cool. And so, yeah, I mean, I try and talk to whoever I can just because I love connecting with the people who have made my life easier. So
that's so cool. I love that we're all kind of like having this opportunity to just like scale back and make connections like this. Yeah, that's cool. I'm really glad you're doing this for yourself. And,
thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I love talking to you. Is there anything else that you want to mention about your music and anything? I don't want to leave something unsaid. It's okay if not. I just always like to ask.
Right. I feel really boring because I actually have a headache, hence the sunglasses.
Oh, no.
So I'm just kind of like,
it's all good.
But I wanted to be at my best for you.
No, it's okay.
No, I mean, I think we covered it. Just trying to survive in the year and trying to hold on to hope that eventually this virus will be gone so we can play some live shows again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got the DeadXLife record. I think we're going to put out another single at the beginning of January, which is a really fun project with my friend Tom, who I met when I was playing in a band with him. Because for a while there was this moment where like I got sober about 10 years ago, but like for me playing shows, I used to have to drink a lot to get on stage because I'm naturally very shy and introverted, and that kind of got out of control. And so I had to stop drinking at one point. And it was like, one of my biggest fears was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play live concerts anymore because I have stage fright. Like, I don't know, like this might change things. And even like writing, like I used to sit in writing sessions and drink like a bottle of wine, and like it helped the creative energy and like helped the lyrics flow, whatever. But like, so I was really worried about that. It was like, well, I have to save my life, so these other things might fall by the wayside. But like slowly but surely it started coming back. But one of my go-to tricks to get back on stage was I was singing backups and playing keyboards in other people's bands. So it was like, okay, well, right. So I'm like, okay, so basically I can be on stage playing music, but I'm not this vocal point.
Yeah, you're
like, I'm not the singer. So exactly. So I can kind of shyly tiptoe and like get ready. And then eventually I am going to be okay enough to sing live without being drunk and being okay. Right.
Yeah.
Which was a big thing, is like stage fright is very, very real. But so, and it's funny because like right when I was ready to like go out and start playing shows again, and I did one with this band DeadXLife, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And then lockdown happened. I'm like, okay, we're gonna keep trying. But I was playing in my friend's band Dreamings, and so this guy Tom was in it too, and we lived like a block away from each other downtown LA. And we were like, hey, I really like Depeche Mode. And he was like, I really like Depeche Mode too. Let's start a band like Depeche Mode.
Why not?
So we started this kind of synthy band. But that was another thing too, where we have a full length record ready to go, but we're just going to put out singles until the world opens up again. But that's going to be like January, I think the second week of January, for a new video and stuff too. We did a cover of a Duran Duran song, actually, which is really, love that band. Yeah. I should send it to you if you don't have it.
Please.
But so we did that, but then we ended up doing a video for that. And then it was like, wait, this is like a 6-minute long song. And so we actually just scrapped that and put the video to another song. And it worked out okay. So that's what 2020 is, right? It's like just trying different things. Like, okay, this doesn't work. What else can we do? So that's one thing. Even with the Nightjacket stuff, like that's all been pushed back, and we've been doing like the codes for it, like, and realizing, okay, well, we have to do 2021. Like, let's be realistic about this. This isn't coming out for a minute. But I mean, I don't know. It's so weird because I have so much energy and I want to be putting out so much music, but at the same time, I'm just feeling so lethargic and beaten by the world, which is just a common feeling for so many people right now.
Yeah.
I mean, what were you supposed to be doing this year?
Well, let's see. I'm in a music business program now that's all online. Which I really don't enjoy. I kind of miss the in-person, because a lot of it is connections, the friendships and all that with different people in the industry. But I guess that's kind of my main life. And thankfully, podcasting can be done remotely as we are now. And so that's kind of been a saving grace because it's kind of become my life and doing that and, producing stuff. And so thankfully, I think if I didn't have that, I would have gone insane. So if I can just keep doing that stuff, so I'm thankful to have that. But
yeah, all my conversations are taking place with the Uber drivers lately.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I live downtown. My boyfriend lives like 30-minute drive away, maybe 20. And so like I go back and forth in Ubers and like that's where I have my conversations.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I had like all my stories now. It's like, oh yeah, the Uber driver had the other day, blah, blah, blah. It's like always the Uber driver. I'm obsessed with my Uber driver because that's how I've starved him for like actual human contact.
Yeah.
It's such a weird year.
No.
But like also like what do we, I'm wondering like so many songs now are going to be about the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
And about loneliness and stuff. And like I've been writing those songs since I was 12.
It's timeless, But yeah, I am curious to see the post-pandemic like movies, music, like what's that going to look like, So
right. Like did you do the whole I'm going to watch all the pandemic movie things like in the beginning? Like Contagion.
When it just started, I did, but at a certain point, I was like, I can't do it. But I was like, oh yeah, I'll try it out. I'll try it, And so I started. I did a few, but I couldn't make it very far.
Like, did you see the #1 movie for the first little bit was Outbreak? I think.
Yeah, it was that, and I think World War Z was another. With Brad Pitt. That was another one, I think. So I was just like, oh God, people are getting into the mindset.
Right. Like, it's fascinating, like being a film buff like yourself. I was reading something the other day, but how actually horror movies, like it's actually good stress release. Because it's controlled, like it's a controlled feeling and you're, it's like less scary than real life because you get to have these moments you're letting go of all this adrenaline being pushed in a certain direction. And then it's almost like a therapy, like a session.
Yeah. Like
at some point.
I think with those kinds of movies, I do find that that's the case because this year, it'll either give me the anxiety or a way to dispense of that anxiety, or it will give me the anxiety that I don't want. And so like, it's kind of one or the other. Like I'll be like, okay, I'm fine now. I'm better. I'm so glad I watched that. Otherwise, or other times I'll get 10 minutes in. I'm like, no, this isn't the day. I'll wait till tomorrow when I'm a complete 180 and I'm, ready to go. But it has been very therapeutic in a lot of ways to watch dark, horror films or intense action movies that are kind of like nail biting. That has been really helpful. So
yeah, it makes normal life a little bit easier. You're like, okay, at least I don't have zombies chasing me.
It's very true.
And at least with COVID, it's not like, our bodies are falling apart outwardly. Like,
yeah.
Although that would probably make people stay home more. But
that's true.
Yeah. But,
yeah.
Here we are.
Small victories.
Right. Have you seen any good movies lately, though?
Gosh, whenever I'm on the spot, people always ask me what I've watched, and I'm always like blank-headed. Oh no,
it's 2020, man. I was reading this article. It was called 2020. It was the year of blur, and it's just talking about how basically like we have no. Oh shit, there was such a good way that they put this. Like it was talking about like boundaries, like just even the day, like normally on a normal day, we'd have like work, like lunch with Susan, like this thing on Thursday night, like all these things. Right. And so with this, it's like none of that is happening. And so it's kind of turning into a blur where we don't know what day it is. We don't know what month it is. Like we don't know what time it is. Time feels so strange right now. And they were talking about this other thing, like our memories, like there's something going on with the fight or flight. Like there's something in our brain, the hippocampus something that's in charge of forming memories, and it's like not doing it. Like our brains are actually protecting us from this year and remembering anything about it. So if you're drawing a blank over anything, like I'm losing words. I'm like, I don't know what the next word I want to say is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm sure you'll remember which movie you would have recommended at like 3 o'clock.
Well, I will say I've been getting into like 70s and 80s, like crime detective shows like Columbo,
Rad.
the Rockford Files, because they're like a cool kind of escape because it is like an escape into another era. And it's charming. It's like, it's just distant enough to be like almost like fantasy, and it's just kind of cool to see, and plus it's just getting to see footage of like the 70s and 80s. Like that's cool on its own. So
yeah. And like the outfits and
yeah,
people smoking in offices, like
hospitals.
What? Right, in hospitals, airplanes.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. That's neat, and we have the time to do it right now too.
Yeah.
Like I know, I feel like a lot of people are binging on some shows because even with Daggers, like we get all like the numbers, whatever. I'm like, oh wait, this number's up. Oh, because people are binging Pretty Little Liars. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
We all got lots of time.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to ask me? I'm sorry, I feel a little brain dead right now.
No, you're totally fine. I don't want to keep you too long. I mean, I'm sure we could.
Henry, I have so much time. I could talk to you for 4 hours.
That's true.
What's your sign? When were you born?
I was born.
Just kidding.
I was born in February 1994. So
okay, what's your astrological sign then?
Pisces.
Oh, cool. I don't know many Pisces.
What's yours?
What are your traits? Oh, I'm a Libra.
Okay.
Just like Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
We're like the same person.
No, totally. I feel like I should know my astrological signs, but I tend to rely on other people to tell me what they are. I think it seems to be nice. It's nice. It's nothing like dangerous. It's just kind of thoughtful, nice.
Okay, that's good. So you got lucky.
I got lucky, thankfully.
Right. Like we're still lucky we're not Scorpios. I don't know. I think we're supposed to be like balanced or something, but like I don't feel balanced. So so it's cool. I think we're supposed to be like forgetful. That's one thing I can totally relate to.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know. What else? What's your favorite color? I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Well, I like blue.
I'm just thinking about other things. Blue's a good color. I like your shirt.
Thank you.
Blue is a good color.
What's yours?
I don't really have one.
No?
No. I just feel like everything is changing in 2021 or 20. We're in 2020.
We're in 2020.
But like even before, like I exclusively wore black. It was like I wear black all the time. This is what I do. I play in goth bands, and then I started tie dyeing, and then all of a sudden there was like this moment where in the year where like you can't go to the gym anymore. I'm like, oh, I put on a couple of pounds, and then all of a sudden all I'm wearing is tie dye and yoga pants. I'm like, who am I? Like I'm not even what is this?
Yeah.
And so I'd go out for walks with one of my bandmates, and he has he's a photographer as well, and so he shoots a lot of stuff on film, and he had a lot of stuff developed, and he was like, hey, like, do you approve of this photo? I'm like, all of these photos are of me in tie-dye and yoga pants. Like nothing is cool about these photos. Like this era is not okay.
Yeah.
So I don't have a favorite color. I just like them all now, but
that's fair.
Also, yeah.
No, I mean, I find like, as we I think talked about a while back, like I feel like truly every day I wake up and I'm like, I have a totally different mindset, like some new crazy thing has happened, and you're supposed to process. And after a while, it just like, it's a mess. So
I feel like the only thing that's expected of us this year is to survive. Like we just have to survive. And no matter how that looks, if you like decide, you know what, I want to listen to Madonna all day today, like that's fine.
Go for it.
Like live your life and do it. If you're going to wear tie-dye, like go live your life and do it. All you have to do is be mindful that you're not catching this COVID and spreading it to other people and not being a dick. Like that's the only thing that's expected.
It's like the only thing you have to do.
Right. Like you can do literally any, like don't murder people, like don't do any shady shit, but like, all you have to do is survive.
Yeah.
That's all that's expected. But yeah, I used to be a big fan of purple. All my bedrooms as a kid, they had to be purple.
That's a solid color.
I mean, I don't know why though. Purple's okay. It seems a little muted. Apparently, it's very royal, But I think it's like really emo too.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Pretty emo.
Well, where do you when this is all said and done, what's one place you want to go? Whether it's for a music purpose or just for the hell of it.
I would really like to go to Canada. I would love to go home and see my family. But I mean, I would love to be able to get up on a stage and play a show now that I'm ready and I don't need to be drunk to do it. I would love to play some more shows. And yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to go to Hawaii. Have you ever been to Hawaii?
No, I would love to.
No, I heard that they're opening up to travelers again. And there were some people who are like, please don't come here because we don't have enough hospitals. And if you come here and you bring COVID and you get people sick, like this will be a big thing. So I'm like, okay, not going to Hawaii anytime soon, but I do want to go later when it's all figured out because it just looks magical.
Yeah, I would love to.
New Zealand looks pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you want to go when this is all over?
I love going up to New York. I haven't been to New York in a few years. I mean, really, I think anywhere out of the United States would be nice.
Yeah.
Maybe England for a little bit. I'm of Irish descent, so I have been to Ireland, so maybe go back to Ireland sometime.
Ooh, have you done those DNA things?
I haven't.
DNA report?
I probably should, though.
That's a fun pandemic quarantine hobby.
That's true.
I've done two.
Oh, really?
Two different companies. Yeah, the first one I went to My Heritage, and it was like a lot of English, Irish, and they're like, actually, you also have 10% Italian and a little bit of Portuguese. But so then I went to my mom and was like, where's this Italian from? Because one of my cousins on her side was like, I have no Italian. And then someone on my dad's side was like, I have no Italian. I'm like, where did the Italian come from? Here's my dad, mom. But then it was just a mystery. And then I did this other one through, I think it was like 23andMe, and they're like, you are 97% English Irish. Like that is, you are that. And so there was no Italian. And so I had to apologize to my mother. Yeah. Right. But I mean, I've never been to Ireland, never been to Scotland or anything. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. I've been to England and Ireland, and both are amazing. So
yeah. Well, let's get you over there. Let's kill this COVID thing. Let's meet this virus.
Please, Andrea.
I wish that I had something to offer. I did a little interview with a friend the other day, and we were just talking. I was like, I feel like I have nothing of merit to offer the world. It's like I can't help with COVID. Really, I can't solve this problem, but like I can write a pop song for you.
Yeah, music has been like my saving grace this year. So I mean, you're doing plenty of great things.
Right. I just feel like I'm useless in the apocalypse. When you see it go down, it's like I can't cook. I wear contact lenses. If I lose my contacts, I'm blind. Like nobody wants to lead, like So just walking around like, you want a song? I was like, I'm trying to survive, man. But yeah, I don't know. I'm grateful that I've been able to be there in moments with you. Thank you. Like, honestly, that means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm sure we could talk for a long time. Is there anything else you want to mention?
No.
I mean, it's been really nice talking to you. I'm glad we managed to do it.
Oh yeah, me too. Thank you. No, I'm sure my manager would be like, talk about this. I don't know what to talk about. What if we don't survive? I'm honestly just waiting for like a big giant asteroid. I really am. Like, what's next? What's just going to take us out?
Yeah.
Because then everyone's like, oh, 2021 is coming. It's only one more month. And it's like, well, what's happening next year?
Yeah. And also, just like if it's January 1st, it's still going to be the same stuff. It's just going to be kind of... But I mean, not to be negative. But
I don't think you're being negative. I think it's realist at this point. And I think that reality is a little bit dark and negative as it is. And, we can try to be as bright and positive about it, but like, it doesn't change anything. I mean,
Let's hope.
I'm really grateful because I have had a moment, and luckily I'm in a position where I can just kind of hide out from the world, and it's been nice to kind of slow down and have a chance to kind of learn more about myself and work on the relationships that I need to work on. And yeah, so I'm grateful for that. I really miss going to the movies though. Like even those little things, right? Like I would love to just go to a movie theater, check out for 2 hours, not check my phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I haven't had that really. Like even at home, I'm watching movies while also checking my phone. Like what in the world is happening right now?
Don't get me started.
Oh my God. Right. So yeah, like I miss those little things, and I know that it's coming back, but I also feel like it's okay to complain about it and to feel sad about it. Like that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, cause I used to go for my movie podcast. I used to go like once or twice a week. And so like, it was just like, that was my one social outlet, Andrea. That was like where I would go to be social. With like, I could go with a friend or, you know, and now it's done. You know, I have no options. but no, I do miss going.
Have you done movie clubs and stuff? Because I know that there are those apps where you can watch movies with friends, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's not the same.
It's not the same. I wish it could be. I know some people like can do that and it's like seamless, but
yeah,
it's got to be the real thing. You know, I've got to spend $12 on popcorn. You know,
Damn. I know. It's that whole experience. Yeah, like if you ever get a chance to come out to LA, like they have this place, the ArcLight here in Hollywood, and and it's so cool because like you get to go to a movie in Hollywood where sometimes like they made the movie, and then sometimes they'll have the director doing a Q&A. And
cool.
There have been some really neat moments. Like I went to this one with David Crosby, that old musician, and it was his documentary, and he was there doing a Q&A beforehand with Cameron Crowe. Like just even being able to sit there and be like, oh, this is me. And so yeah, I miss those weird little moments of just magic. But again, if we all survive this and we all just do what we're supposed to be doing, we'll get back to these things eventually.
Yeah.
I hope.
And I miss going to concerts, you know, that's, I mean, as you know, as you do. So.
Yeah. You know, it's funny with concerts, like I really miss them, but also at the same time, I'm like, and sometimes going to a show is such a drag. Like, you know, like you have to be around other people. And I always have the bad luck of being behind the people who want to talk throughout the entire show, you know, and like they just will decide that their conversation is more important than the artist on stage. And like, I'm always behind those people, always. And then like, it's too busy and I can't move. And I'm just sitting there like upset and like, I don't care what happened to your friend. Like, I'm here to see this band. So, you know, there definitely, I wonder and I hope that when I'm finally able to go see other people play, that I've missed it enough to like not care about those little things anymore.
Yeah. See, that it's funny you say that because I'm usually next to the people who want to sit when everybody else is standing and like cheering. Like I've had so many concerts where like people are going crazy nuts. You just want to get like with the vibe, and the people on either side of me are sitting and they're just like, just killing the vibe. Like you're killing me. Like you're here to see this huge band. Enjoy it. Don't just sit there and you know, gabble.
I've been on both sides of that too, though. Sometimes I just really want to sit.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a time and place. There's a time and place. Don't let me hate on the sitters, but
no, it's like I'm such a Libra that I'm like I do both.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm like I think a lot of us are grieving right now. We're just grieving the lives that we had before all this happened, and I think that it's definitely like it's going to come back. It's going to come back a little bit wonky and a little different. And I'm sure with a lot of venues not being able to make their way through the year, it's going to be different. And like, even I'm sure we're going to have to stay 6 feet apart from each other for a while too. Like it's just changing a lot. So yeah, I feel like we're all just in a stage of grief right now. Right. man, I just got really sad.
Yeah.
I miss my old life.
It comes in waves, you know?
Yeah, it really does. It really does. It does come in waves, and it's easy to find some positivity too. And like, okay, we are all in this together. We're all just in different boats, you know. I would love to be able to just go to the ocean and have an island and just like swim around. I saw that David Geffen. Did you see what David Geffen did?
No.
In the beginning, he had, because he's David Geffen, but like he went out on a yacht. He's like, okay, bye everyone. And he had this yacht at sea. I'm like, that seems amazing.
That
as
is
long
the
as
life.
no one on board had COVID.
Yeah.
It's like a personal cruise ship. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's like the rest of the world. You see the Kardashians having private island parties, and you're like, but aren't we supposed to be okay? But like, part of me's like, damn, I would love to be doing that too.
Yeah. It's like, I don't. Sadly, I don't have a yacht. I would share it with you if I had it, but I'm.
Thank you.
If I'm ever lucky enough to have that, but.
Right.
So.
Well, I've always seen myself as like a cruise ship singer anyway. Like, you know, I have a good repertoire. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's
just travel the world.
That's not the worst life, you know, be on a cruise ship.
I have a couple of friends that did the Rock of Ages cruise. Like, they were in the musical production of that, and they had fun. They made a lot of money. And they got to play music. One friend met his wife in the show, so. Wow. That was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I've only been on one cruise, and it was just kind of like.
Yeah, I just remember the food. That was fun.
Yeah, also, it is fun.
Also, I was like 12, so I guess I don't have the best.
No, that's perfect, because then it's like waffles and everything. You're like, I can have waffles all day long.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, let's get you another waffle cruise.
Please.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Henry.
Yeah, thank you. And please come back whenever you would like. You're welcome back anytime.
Oh my God.
All right, everybody. I think that is about it for the show. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Music Buds. Check out themusicbuds.com. Please subscribe, rate the show. Thank you very much. And we will see you next time.